morning and Shana Tova. Happy Jewish New Year. The Jewish New Year, the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, begins tonight, and I'm so excited that you are here because I'm going to be vlogging for you all my preparations today, and I have a lot to do because we only just got back from Disney World yesterday. What? I know, it's crazy. We landed at like 5 o'clock last night, so I prepped as much as I possibly could the week before we left, but there's a lot to do today, so come on, let's go. Okay, first up that I have to do today is the honey cake. I love making a honey cake in this mold each year because it looks like honeycomb bees. I think that's really cute. I'm not making a challah this year. What? I ordered it from the bakery knowing that we would have limited time today, so I'm going to pick that up. It's actually a really special challah with like dried fruit. They do it so nicely, so I'm excited for that. So I don't have to do the challah, but I do have to make our honey cake, so let's start with that. So first up is the honey cake. I don't know about you, but I always start with dessert first when I'm baking or cooking a meal. And I try to do the meats right at the end so that I don't have to reheat them, because I feel like that can get a little dicey. And by meat, I mean fish, because we're doing dairy this year. But any like meat or fish, I feel like it's best cooked once and not reheated, ideally. So I always start with my baking in the morning. This is the honey cake recipe from Smitten Kitchen. I edited it a touch, but mostly it's that recipe, and I've used it for years and years. And I do have a YouTube video where I show how to make it exactly, but it's really simple. You just basically throw everything in the mixer, mix it together, pour it in the mold, and bake it. But I do want to warn you, the recipe calls for hot coffee, and you put the hot coffee in with raw eggs. So you just need to be a little bit careful that you don't scramble the eggs. That almost happened to me. So you want to make sure your coffee is not too hot. So I will give that caveat for this recipe. Okay, the kitchen is a ginormous mess. We're just gonna let that go and keep moving forward. Sometimes I cook where like super clean and organized, and sometimes I'm like, let's just make everything a mess and we'll clean up after. I don't know if I mentioned, but we're doing dairy for the meal tonight, fish and dairy. So I am making a super rich lakshan kugel. I'm actually gonna make two. One with like a cheesiness and one with a butteriness. So that's what I'm doing now. I've got the lakshan noodles boiling up over there. Just 5 minutes, just a slight cook, and then we're gonna assemble the kugel. Okay, then next up for the kugels, this is again a riff on like a traditional recipe. I'm using some yogurt, cottage cheese. You can also use sour cream, and then lots of eggs and sugar, and you bake it with the lakshan noodles, the egg noodles, butter, of course, raisins. Oh, I do want to talk about raisins for a minute. So in almost all of these kugel style recipes, or challahs, like things where you bake with raisins, the recipe always says to put the raisins in hot water first, basically let them like plump up. And personally, I don't like it. I prefer the raisins like harder and chewier, so I always ignore that part in a recipe. So do what you like in a recipe. If you feel a certain way, go for it. So you'll see here I'm just putting the raisins in plain. I don't like that consistency anyways. And yeah, this is a really fun recipe because you can, again, mix the whole thing in the mixer, just put all the ingredients in, mix together, and then you're just going to bake it. It's super simple and really delicious and indulgent. But still really good. For the second kugel, I wanted to do it a little less cheesy and rich, so this one just has butter, honey, and raisins. Okay, so this kugel is done. It actually doesn't need to bake because it only has like butter and oil in it. It doesn't have any eggs. And then the other one is baking down there, and then the honey cake is almost ready. It just needs about another 2 minutes. Okay, time for the big reveal with my honeycomb. This is a silicone mold. It's super easy to use. I just sprayed the pan first. I actually put a little too much spray this year, I think, but came out great anyways, and it's so good. And then next up for dessert, I'm just chopping some berries. I always feel like it's good to have fruit served with dessert, and I usually just go for strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries. They just look so pretty together, and just put them together in a bowl. And then for a little appetizer, I'm putting out a cheese board this year, as well as some veggie crudité. So I'm just slicing some bell peppers, cucumbers, and then putting that with like hummus, tzatziki, that sort of thing. I got this new knife for the cucumbers called a ripple knife, or I think that's what it's called. It basically has this like ripple edge. I was really into it this year. You'll see in a sec. But I actually really think that they improved the crudité, and I love how they made the cucumbers look. Okay, here it is. By the way, I'll link the one I got. I think it's more for potatoes. It's pretty large, but I was very impressed with it. I have made some big leaps since we last chatted. Set up the dessert side of the counter. Did all the dishes, just need to put them away. And everything here is ready to go. And then the last thing I really need to do, I need to do the salmon. So I'm gonna just like marinate it, I guess, in its thing and set it all ready so it's ready to go in the oven. I'm actually not going to film that part because I feel like you don't want to see me touching raw fish for 20 minutes, but yeah, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do the cheese board, which is really the last thing I have to do, and then everything is ready to go. I want to show you guys the table and something very, very special. So here is the table. Underneath the challah cover, oh, it smells so good, is this stunning dried fruit challah. We got it from a local bakery. It is so good. I had it once like 6 years ago at my in-laws, and I was like, I need that again. And then I also just got their bakery challah. I just didn't have time to do the challah today. I'm so sorry. Okay, there it is. There it is. There's this amazing artist on Instagram. Her name's Amanda. I'll put her links below. And she messaged me and asked me, she's another Jewish artist, and she was like, do you want one of my prints? And I was like, actually, I would love one for the dining room. I have really been wanting to replace what we had there before, which was like a dark blue navy one that I just felt was making the room seem like dark, and I don't know, just like didn't go with my vibes, my aesthetic, my colors that I was using these days. So I had the pink tablecloth, and I looked on her site and I was like, do you have anything pink? And I just think it looks so pretty in here. And it's just so beautiful, and I'm so happy with how it makes the room feel, especially compared to the last one. So I will put her links and everything so you can go check her out. She also does art for Frame TV, so if you don't want to buy a print but you have a Frame TV, you can get that too. But her stuff is reasonable. Definitely check her out. She's such a beautiful artist. And yeah, that's the room. Okay, so I'm gonna do the salmon, and I'll insert some clips this evening, like right before everything gets started. But I just wanted to take a moment and wish you guys a Shana Tova, a very sweet, happy, and healthy, and good new year. Thank you so much for being part of my little community here. I love it. I love chatting with you guys in the comments, and I just want to wish you all the very best for the year to come. We're here. We're all ready to go. Zachary, you want to say Shana Tova?
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. We're wishing you a happy new year. Everything's all ready to go. I'm so excited for everyone to come over and celebrate. Did I mention it's also Shabbat? It's a special a special double holiday. You say Rosh Hashanah? Shana Tova?
Rosh Hashanah.
Rosh Hashanah, yes. Your second ever Rosh Hashanah. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Yeah,
You can believe it. All right, we're gonna go get ready here, and so here is how the cheese board looked. The honeycomb on it was just stunning. I loved it. One of my favorite things I've always wanted to do for Rosh Hashanah. And then I had some fresh pomegranates and figs, and this is the start of the dessert table. We had a few more things to add, and then of course the table all set with the challahs. We had a regular challah and the dried fruit challah, and here is just some sneak peeks right before we eat. I'm so glad my sister-in-law reminded me to grab this shot for you guys. That is how it all looks. I put everything on the island, and then just everyone served themselves. I find that's easier with kids and hot plates and stuff, and that was the final meal. Shana Tova.